Bobby he has big personality for his age. He's working very hard and he's getting more and more confidence and getting used to the game. And yes, we want more goals from Bobby.
Lo que veo yo es que tiene algo especial. Es muy rápido, muy potente en espacio reducido. Es capaz de llegar a la velocidad máxima en muy poco espacio. Es muy hábil en el desmarque.
Did Real Madrid just sign the next Brazilian Ronaldo? Endrick is the next big thing to take over the attack of Los Blancos, and it's getting scary. Real Madrid is the club that defines football greatness. Whether it's lifting more Champions League trophies than anyone else, or setting trends on and off the field, they've always been ahead of the game. But it's not just about the present. They're masters at spotting future stars, and their latest prodigy, Endrick, might just be the most exciting talent in years. So, how did this young Brazilian, still just a teenager, become Real Madrid's most thrilling signing? Everyone knows that Real Madrid are all about success. This isn't just any football club. With 15 Champions League titles,
but we start at Wembley, where Real Madrid have won the Champions League for a record 15th time,
and 36 La Liga trophies, it's easy to see why. But staying at the top isn't just about what happens on the pitch today, but also about planning for tomorrow, and Madrid is good at that. For years, Real Madrid's transfer policy was simple: to buy the biggest stars and let the magic happen. Remember the Galacticos era? Zidane, Ronaldo, and Beckham were global superstars who brought glamour and trophies. Florentino Perez, Real Madrid's president, was the mastermind behind that. But as football's financial landscape changed with oil-rich clubs like Manchester City and PSG throwing their wallets around, Madrid had to adapt. They couldn't always outbid everyone, so they did something different. They turned their eyes to the future. Instead of splashing the cash on already established names, Real Madrid started investing in young talent. Players like Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo were brought in as teenagers, and look at them now. They're dominating in La Liga and the Champions League. So when the opportunity to sign the player that was hyped as the next Ronaldo Nazario and Rivaldo, what did Real Madrid do? They wasted no time at all to make Endrick the most expensive South American teenager. Born in 2006, Endrick was already kicking a ball around by the age of 4. But this wasn't just a hobby for him, it was a necessity. His family was struggling, sometimes unable to put food on the table. So, at a young age, Endrick made a vow to change their fortunes through football. His father uploaded videos of his goals to YouTube, hoping to attract the attention of Brazil's biggest clubs. At just 8, Endrick was already playing at a Real Madrid camp in his hometown. His dream was to play for Los Blancos and follow in the footsteps of his idols, Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, and later on Vinicius Jr. By the time he was 11, Endrick joined Palmeiras' youth system, and this is where things really took off. In 5 years, he scored insane 165 goals in 169 games. That's an insane 0.98 goals per game. By the time he was 15, he was already making headlines, dominating the 2022 Sao Paulo Junior Cup. 8 goals in 7 matches led Palmeiras to the first ever title in that competition, and Endrick was named player of the tournament. European clubs began to take notice of this young talent. But who was going to get his signature? Endrick didn't waste time once he made his senior debut for Palmeiras in October 2022, and he became the youngest player to represent the club at just 16 years old. He also became the second youngest goal scorer in the Brazilian league when he scored a brace just 3 weeks later. He led Palmeiras to their 11th league title and even found the net in the title-winning match against Fortaleza. By the end of the 2022 season, Endrick had scored 3 goals in 7 appearances, helping Palmeiras secure the championship with 3 games to spare. And at this point, the hype was real. He was named the most promising player in the league. In December 2022, the news dropped. Real Madrid had secured Endrick for a cool 35 million euros fixed, with another 25 million euros in variables, which will potentially total 60 million euros if he hits all the targets. Some sources even reported 12 million euros in additional taxes. Yeah, that's a lot of money for a 16-year-old.
Endrick, the much sought after, very talented youngster from Palmeiras. Agreement reached with Real Madrid whereby he'll be able to join Real when he comes of age in July 2024. There's a fee of 75 million.
But when you got talent like Endrick, the price tag looks like a bargain. His official move didn't happen until July 2024 when he turned 18. but Madrid made sure to lock him down before other European giants could swoop in. The comparisons to legends like Ronaldo Nazario and even Pelé at the young age are wild, but justified. He was placed among the world's top talents born in 2006, and from that moment, the whole world began watching Endrick, and he caught the eye of Brazil's national team too. In November 2023, he got his first call-up for the senior squad to play in the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. He became Brazil's fourth youngest player ever to do so, and the youngest in 57 years since Ronaldo in 1994. In late March 2024, he became the youngest player to score for Brazil at Wembley Stadium in a friendly against England. After that game, Endrick confessed he idolized the late English legend Bobby Charlton.
Top 5 futbolistas favoritos. 5 jugadores que más te gusten. Cristiano. Claro. Bobby. Charlton. Vale. Bobby Charlton.
Which was strange because Charlton stopped playing football decades before Endrick was even born. His Brazil and Real Madrid teammate Rodrigo began calling him Bobby after that game. But social media started to make fun of Endrick because of how he idolized someone he didn't watch play. Just 3 days after his Wembley magic, Endrick netted again in a 3-3 draw against Spain, and what's more special is that it was at the Santiago Bernabéu Stadium, his new home. And by May 2024, he earned a call-up to Brazil's Copa America squad. Things were looking bright, until they weren't. In a quarter-final clash against Uruguay, Endrick made his first start for Brazil, replacing the suspended Vinicius Jr. Sadly, his impact was minimal, as he only completed one pass, and one he made from kickoff. Brazil lost in penalties, and Endrick took some of the heat especially in social media, as everyone questioned if he was truly the next big thing. Were you one of those who wasn't convinced at first? Let us know in the comments, and be sure to hit the subscribe button while you're at it. Endrick's summer of 2024 was arguably the most important of his young career. Fans had eagerly waited for him to hit the European stage. Real Madrid finally announced a 6-year contract after the Copa America, and just days later, he was unveiled at the iconic Santiago Bernabéu. Despite a summer of pressure, Endrick didn't take a break. He cut his holiday short to join Carlo Ancelotti's squad for Real Madrid's preseason tour in the US. His debut came in a tough 1-0 loss to AC Milan in Chicago, where Ancelotti saw flashes of brilliance despite the loss. Endrick created one chance, though he didn't get a single shot or touch in the box. Still, Ancelotti was impressed with his skills and potential. In his second preseason game, things didn't go as smoothly. Endrick had a tough outing against Barcelona in the El Clásico, where Real Madrid lost 2-1 at MetLife Stadium. His performance was criticized, with some fans going so far as to call him the most fraudulent transfer of all time. Social media was buzzing with memes about his fitness and lack of impact, and Endrick still hadn't found the back of the net after 2 appearances. There were talks of the player just being all hype and no talent, and he was just used for promoting Brazilian young players. But as time went on, he began to show why many clubs wanted him in the first place. Now, let's be real. The pressure on his shoulders is immense. A young player signing for Real Madrid for 60 million euros, that's a mountain of expectation for anyone, let alone an 18-year-old. Sure, the memes and criticism are part of the modern game, but Endrick is still getting started. From the onset, everyone knew that Endrick wouldn't instantly be a starter at Real Madrid. The club also signed French star Kylian Mbappé for free in the summer transfer market, and the expectation was that he would start up front alongside Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo. But even from the bench, Endrick had shown his spark early on. In his debut for Madrid during a La Liga match against Real Valladolid, Madrid had a hard time finding rhythm and attack despite eventually winning 3-0. Kylian Mbappé, the big summer signing, was struggling to find his first La Liga goal, missing 2 great chances. But then, in the 86th minute, a change was made. Mbappé out, Endrick in. The 18-year-old took just 4 minutes to make his mark, scoring a sensational goal to seal the victory. That moment not only got the fans buzzing, but also had some cheekily comparing him to none other than Brazilian legend Ronaldo Nazario. Endrick became the youngest foreigner to score for Real Madrid in La Liga history, at just 18 years and 35 days, surpassing Rafael Varane's record. In mid-September, Endrick made his Champions League debut against VfB Stuttgart, and guess what? He was at it again, scoring the 3-1 win. He not only became the youngest player to score for Real Madrid in Champions League, but also the youngest Brazilian to score in the competition. The kid's breaking records like they're nothing. We've seen plenty of Brazilian prodigies come through the ranks at Madrid. Take Vinicius Jr. and Rodrigo, for example. Both were hyped as the next big things, and they had their fair share of challenges. Vinicius took 3 whole seasons to improve his finishing, and both he and Rodrigo needed about 2 years to bulk up for the demands of European football. But Endrick seemed like he skipped all the growing pains. His ball striking ability is unreal for someone his age. Whether it's long-range screamers, tight-angle shots, or off-balance finishes, Endrick can do it all. His finishing is already the level of some of the top European strikers. He can strike with a power and precision that brings back memories of Adriano at his peak, despite standing at just 5'6", which isn't the ideal build for a top striker. But Endrick's stocky build and sheer explosiveness make him a beast in one-on-one duels. He shrugs off challenges and muscles past defenders like it's child's play. In terms of raw strength, he's clearly got that early Ronaldo Nazario vibe. For most players, it takes years to develop good decision-making and technical passing, but Endrick is already ahead of the curve. His passing technique and decision-making are miles beyond what you'd expect from an 18-year-old. He knows when to pass, when to make runs, and has an eye for those killer crosses. He's practically ticking all the boxes of a complete forward, which is something you rarely see at this stage. Few predicted he'd adapt this fast, even from the bench. The kid's been under a massive spotlight ever since, with some big expectations on his shoulders and some criticism, just like when fans attacked him for not passing the ball in their latest 1-1 draw with Atletico Madrid. He had Jude Bellingham, but instead shot the ball wide. But let's not forget, it's not easy to handle that pressure, especially when you're coming into a club like Madrid. So, will Endrick continue breaking records and silencing critics? Based on what we've seen so far, what do you think?